The Rangers are coming. Title 56. The most successful British team of all time. We hear this quite a lot, but according to Scott Brown, we hear it far too much. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. And Scott Brown has accused Rangers of talking too much. He thinks that Rangers hype themselves up too much. The fans hype themselves up too much. And it always leads to the same thing, or at least it seems like it does. And that, of course, is Celtic winning the Old Firm matches and Celtic winning the league. Scott Brown thinks the reason Celtic won the last game is because they did it the right way. They went in quietly, they went in confidently, and they let Rangers do all the talking off the pitch while they did their talking on the pitch. So Scott Brown, in his latest interview, went on to speak about Celtic and Rangers. He has tipped Celtic to win the title this season, and he thinks Celtic have the upper hand because they don't get too excited, they don't talk too much, they know what they're capable of, and they just do it. Whereas he believes Rangers are all hype, they're all talk, and they don't have anything to back that up. This is exactly what Scott Brown said regarding the Old Firm match and who's going to go on to win the league title this season. Brown says, quote, "Celtic are quiet, they don't speak too much, they don't get too excited, they stay kind of mellow all the way through, and I think that's the best thing that Brendan ever brought to the football club. He's always just made sure things are ticking over quietly and working towards the game ahead." But it sparks you a little bit more. You let them speak, then you go and dictate, win the game, and then you're like, yeah, mate, there you go. End of quote. Brown was then asked if Rangers do too much talking, if they are too confident, if they are too cocky, if the egos are too big, which Brown, of course, responded, quote, "Yes, you see all the fans jumping on the bandwagon as well. But for me, Celtic got it spot on. They knew how to go and play Rangers. They knew what they were going into. Rangers had a couple of chances, but Celtic dominated the game. The Celtic press was exceptional compared to Rangers. You look at the Celtic front six, they'll go and press and work hard. That's the difference between the two teams. If you look at the distance covered by both of them, 9 times out of 10, whoever works the hardest wins the game." End of quote. So Scott Brown accusing Rangers of not working as hard. Scott Brown accusing Rangers of talking too much. Scott Brown accusing Rangers of basically just blowing hot air and then going in to games and not backing it up. And does Scott Brown have a point? Because Rangers do go into games a lot of times thinking that they are going to turn it around, they are going to beat Celtic, this is their time, they are going to return as the best team in Scotland, and it just never seems to happen. I know they won title 55 under Gerrard. Celtic didn't have a great season that year, but Rangers were fantastic. You can't take anything away from them. At least in the league, they went unbeaten, 34 wins, 4 draws. That is a phenomenal league season, no matter who you are. Maybe domestically, they weren't great, but you know what? Celtic didn't win any of the cups, so I think Rangers, obviously, they would have wanted more than one league title, considering they were so much better than Celtic that year. But I think it would have felt worse for Rangers had they only won the league and then Celtic won 2 of the cups. The fact that St Johnstone did a cup double, it kind of just compounded Celtic's misery, and it made Rangers' season look a lot better because they did outscore Celtic in trophies as well, not just in terms of a massive points difference in the league. However, apart from that season, Rangers just haven't really been able to do it. They've got the Scottish Cup win, of course, over Hearts, and that is it. That is their only top flight trophy since 2012 outside of the league. So a Scottish Cup and a league trophy. It's not a lot, and we've heard all this Rangers talk, albeit we didn't really hear it that much until probably around 2015-16. It started with Warburton, the magic hat. There was some dumb gimmick about him having a magic hat, and that magic hat was coming for Celtic. Didn't really work. He got beat. Then Graham Murty came in, and people were saying how Graham Murty is really good and deserves the job because he got a 0-0 draw in the Old Firm. He came in and didn't really last long. Caretaker manager, he was bumped out. Pedro came in. There wasn't that much hype around Pedro, to be fair, and rightfully so. He was kicked out. You had Gerrard came in. Wasn't much hype around him, and he actually done well, but then he left. Then Gio comes in. Couldn't really recapture the magic that Gerrard had. Michael Beale came back, and we were told that Michael Beale was the man behind Gerrard's master plan. Michael Beale was essentially the man, and Gerrard was the guy that put the cones out. Okay, it was like the opposite way about. Michael Beale was the real manager. He was the guy that led Rangers to greatness, and Gerrard was just there. Gerrard was standing there like a spare part. But it turns out, since then, Michael Beale is a fraud. So Rangers have changed their mind on him, and now we're hearing about Clement. Clement's the best Rangers manager they've had since Walter Smith. We've heard he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And the guy, let's be real, he done okay in Belgium, but he got sacked from Monaco. So I think Rangers do get a little bit too overhyped. I think they do get a little bit too confident. Right now, Celtic are the best team. Can Rangers win the league this season? Of course they can. I think they can. But the squad isn't that great. The team isn't that great. I think if Rangers are going to win the league, it's going to be because of Celtic not being that good, rather than Rangers being great. So I think Scott Brown, I think he's got a point. But then again, if you are the second best team, you are more likely to talk more, because if you're winning all the trophies, you don't, as a fan, you don't really need to brag. You don't need to talk your team up. If your team's winning everything, they're literally doing the talking for you. So when you're second best, when you're the loser, when you're the runner-up, you kind of have to talk. You kind of have to be positive and believe that this is your year and finally your team can turn it around. So I understand why Rangers fans do get excited and why they do a lot of talking. And I'm sure if the roles were reversed, if Rangers had this dominant 11, 12 years and Celtic were the ones playing catch-up, then you would probably hear Celtic fans getting more excited whenever they brought in a new manager, or whenever they signed new players, or had a good transfer window. So, I mean, come on, we can't really blame fans here for being optimistic and wanting their team to get better and wanting their team to be the best. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Scott Brown thinks Celtic did their talking on the pitch. I don't think Celtic were that good, but I mean, whatever. They didn't do their talking on the pitch against Kilmarnock. They didn't do their talking on the pitch against Hearts. So, yeah, we'll see what happens in the second half of the season. Scott Brown thinks Celtic will win the league. I probably agree with him, but it's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Could go down to the final day. I think that's how tight it could be. And, of course, I think the next two Old Firm games will be massive. But, look, Rangers need to win at least one of them. You cannot keep losing Old Firm games. If Rangers lose the next two Old Firm games in the league, they cannot win the league. They need to at least win one of them. And if they can't win them, you've got to draw them. You can't be giving up 3 points. It's essentially a 6-pointer. Rangers have already gave Celtic 6 points from the Old Firm matches and received absolutely nothing. If you switch that around and you give Rangers the 6 points and you take away 6 for Celtic, then look how different the league table is. So the Old Firm games are massive. If Rangers have got a chance, they need to win one of the Old Firm games, or at least stop Celtic from winning them. It's as simple as that. Anyway, guys, catch you in the next one. Scott Brown thinks Rangers talk too much. So, yeah, maybe he'll get that little Rangers tattoo erased then on his ankle. That's it, guys. Catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.